Then what were the requirements for you to enroll into the foundation program first?
Foundation program, I feel like I got lied to in the first place. It's because in MMU, they promote themselves as the CLP free. So like they say that you need like a lot of A's, about like 7 to 8 A's to get into foundation itself. So I'm like, whoa, this is pretty prestigious. And then when I got into foundation in law, to my surprise, my batch was the largest batch, like 400 people. 400 people per batch. Yeah, that's my batch, the largest batch so far. Which means that it's impossible for that many people to have so many A's. I think this is true according to how my classmates behave and how they legit because a lot of lecturers complain on the quality of work and whatever not. But that's also partially because maybe it's their first time doing law and whatever not. I mean it's the same for me but I got above average marks .
Oh, yeah.
So okay. I'm not flexing here, legit, but I doubt there's that as much A's as there is in the batch. Okay, I'm not trying to defame my university here, but that's the requirement that they lay out. But I've already inquired some of my friends. Their grades in SPM for English is not even C, and they're still in.
Oh.
This is just like personal experience based .
Are you paying the full fees or are you having any rebates or scholarships you like?
Okay, in terms of scholarships, for law it's very hard to find scholarships actually. So, MMU, or rather Telecom itself, they have this scholarship called Yayasan Telecom, YTM scholarship. They will sponsor you 100% fully if you apply for it and you pass interviews and whatnot. But the thing is that they will bond you for the amount that you borrowed. So let's say for my entire course, I think they will bond you for about like 6-7 years, if I'm not mistaken. I didn't apply for this scholarship because I don't want to be bound for that long. Like 7 years, like if you have an opportunity to jump to a better career, you would instantly jump, right? But because of this thing, you cannot jump. And they were like, you have to pay back if you jump, whatever not . So I opted for pt.2. That's typical like post student . pt.2 is the way to go.
Relatable. So like after enrolling to it, how has life been then, like with foundation and your first year?
Okay, because I'm from Penang, right? MMU has 3 different branches: Cyberjaya, Melaka, and Johor. Jaya. Okay. The transition from one state to another state is like quite major because you're technically finally living an independent life. You are experiencing a whole new thing yourself. Do all the basic stuff, chores and whatnot. And also, it's an unknown environment. The first thing that you're there, you don't know anyone, so it's a bit scary. But at the same time, it's also why I chose to be in MMU, because it brings you to another state. You can meet new people, more people. So MMU has this thing called orientation camp, OC. The instant you join in, no matter what course you are, there'll always be orientation for you. And through that, the committees are actually students, so they will have you bond with a lot of people from different kinds of places, whatnot . So there's a lot of variety in MMU actually. So I got to know a lot of friends there, and as you go by, things become really okay and cool because somehow you have to filter your friends there, There's a lot of people who act nice on the outside, then like stakes and whatnot . Especially in assignments, I tell you. Assignments are a whole different thing. Like the first thing like normally you judge people on first impression basis, correct? And then you recruit them into your group, whatnot, and then they perform badly, then you have to find again. The process is very triggering, I would say, because you have to find the right people to work with, then only you can proceed . Otherwise you'll just be, we say tanking the thing yourself . You have to hard carry the thing, your whole assignments and whatnot, so it'll be very tough on you as a law student . If you're that kind of law student, salute to you guys. But I have found great team members and a great bunch of friends that I can work with together. But definitely it's a really eye-opening experience because you get to mingle around with different sorts of people from all walks of life, whatnot. And but then I see, the sad thing is I see quite a few people who just, mix with their own race. That gets kind of sad but it's, I guess, typical student kind of things. Like they form social groups according to their race.
So like is racial segregation heavy in MMU or is it just a minority there?
I wouldn't say it's the majority there, it's like half-half . Chinese myself, but then like the Chinese will always mix with the Chinese somehow. My group is more racially diverse . We try to keep things open and whatnot. it also stems with a lot of things like stereotypes, whatnot. I don't blame them lah, but it's just their instinct to mix with their own social groups. But overall, the life in Malacca is it's cheap there. That's one thing. It's very cheap there. The food there, it's very convenient for students. University area ma. And there's a lot of events you can join there in universities, as compared to like colleges like listed whatnot. I believe there are a lot more extracurricular activities, and I'm in this society called the Multimedia University Law Society, MULS. They have a lot of activities like seminars. They will bring you to Parliament, Palace of Justice, POJ, all these places, and you can just see from there like what is it like to be a lawyer, how are the places, how they look like, and when you will visit them in the future anyways. So it just helps you like build things along the way, because not everything is about studies, right? You need to go and apply your concepts and whatnot, and then you can do that through mooting. We have mooting competitions as well and whatnot. So there's a lot of other clubs also lah, but this is one of the faculty-based clubs in MMU. Yeah, we have a lot like engineering, IT, or whatever not. Law Society is just one of them. Yeah, that's about it, my experience lah. So far, I see it's quite good lah. But it depends on your luck, whether you find the right friends to mix with and whatnot.
Then okay, like did you have any fears when you entered law school?
I mean, there will be fears lah, because people always say like, oh, law is super hard. And then they will scare you with you need to memorize a lot, everything. Partially it's true. Like the more cases memorized, the better you'll do somehow. But overall, I find it pretty okay because of the interest. The interest factor is very important. Like to me, law is like a storybook. The cases are all like stories for you to read, like why people do this, like the laws that apply. Those are your textbook stuff, basic stuff that you know. The most interesting part is like the judges' rulings. If you read cases like full case laws, like you'll see how the judges think and how they interpret certain situations, which is a very, how to say it, you can see that there's a lot of ways of different judges and how they approach each situation. And then you compare to yourself, like if I was this judge, I would do this and that. So that's one interesting aspect for me lah. So that interest makes it not hard for me to digest law, I'd say. So it's a bit, not to say easy, but it also takes a few times for a few complicated principles and whatnot to digest. But overall interest is a very important factor to overcome the fear of law also, I would say. Like most people will fear memorization and whatnot, but the thing is, don't memorize blindly. If you memorize blindly, you'll just blank out an exam. Because the problems are always scenario based. Then you have to twist and turn your applications accordingly. Yeah, the ability to think on your feet is also another thing. For mooters, this is like common for them, like because on the spot the judges will just ask them questions one after the another. And you cannot contradict yourself. If you contradict yourself, you are basically screwed already for the thing. So you have to be fast to think on your feet. This one is you have to learn one lah. They will train you through mooting. It's for real life application as well, but mostly it's a lot of preparation, I would say, beforehand. You have to read up a lot, you have to understand a lot what's going on right now, what should be done, what should not be done. Like there's a lot of like bad laws, I would say, in Malaysia right now.
Okay.
You can just take a look at the recent Hannah Yeo's case. She's being, because of Sedition Act, like even the thing is, even you have a seditious tendency, they will arrest you already. So that's like unfair, right? Like that's why they say freedom of speech is guaranteed, but freedom after speech is not guaranteed.
Okay.
Yeah, because they don't need to prove that you have a seditious manner. Like you have to, as long as there's a possibility that it's seditious, you can be arrested. So that's screwed up, right? Because it's like any other criminal law. You have to prove it beyond the shadow of doubt, in order to penalize the person. But this is like in contrast with every other principle of criminal law already. You just have to prove that there's a possibility. So it is more like contracts already. There's a balance of probabilities. Then you can arrest the person. That's like unfair, man. It's like that, right? You can just literally use Sedition Act to arrest literally every single politician and whatever they say. Even let's say I was defaming MMU just now, like, they can just arrest me already if I have the seditious tendency. Well, the fear of law school is just over exaggerated, I would say. Yeah, as long as you are on your feet, you just be able to adapt to everything. everything is fine one. You just have to be prepared to do a lot of reading and writing. Personally, I found like, this transition to online courses, online assessment based, where you don't need to write, all you need to do is type, is very good for me because my handwriting is shit. And I can type fast, so it's a win-win for me, sort of thing. But overall, law school is pretty fine for me. It might be hard for some, but as long as you can adjust properly, accordingly, and learn like how to study the law your way or any other people's way, depends on how you like it, you'll be fine.
Moving on to our final question, do you have any, I know that you're currently just in your second year, but definitely you have already experienced 2 years of it. So do you have any advice you would like to give to aspiring law students, like perhaps words you would have liked to hear when you entered foundation and entered your law degree?
Words I would like to hear, actually I don't rely on people, so I have no words I like to hear, but never mind, regardless. One thing I can say that is that don't fear the teachers or your friends. Be brave to stand up for yourself, because you have to do that in court later on as well, to fight for your views. But the most basic thing is that you prepare your heart for law school. If you don't prepare yourself to like read a lot and whatnot, you'll find that you're suddenly doing a lot of work for some reason. Like you struggle yourself to catch up with others, because most will be well prepared already. It's also a good thing to know about current issues. Read the newspapers and whatnot. Follow what's trending right now. Not in terms of fashion, but in terms of like issues and what's wrong with the country. Because as you study law, you will come to understand the rights and wrongs. But the rights and wrongs are determined by law. But that isn't the fixed answer, because laws may be wrong as well. So it depends on how you interpret it. And yeah, that's what I say. Just prepare yourself well enough, and then you'll be fine for law school, for your career. But you need to know connections as well. So mix with seniors, whatever not, and good luck.
Okay. Alright, thank you. That's the end of the interview. Alright.
Alright, thank you, Gaming.